They didn't do any RL scaling on it. This is going to technical. I can explain what happened with 4.5 if you want.
Go for it, man.
Yeah, so GPT 4.5 was this model that came after. So as soon as GPT 4 was trained, they started training GPT 4.0, which is 10x larger than 4. This time, like the O1 research project, which was the thinking models part or the RL part, hadn't started yet. So they essentially spent a lot of money in computing for compute and training GPT 4.5 because it was a 10x larger model, and they hoped like the gains would be substantial. But then they found this other path of scaling on the O1, O3, GPT-5 path. But so 4.5 became this child which took in a lot of resources for OpenAI, but wasn't deployed, was too expensive to train and do inference on.
I think they deployed it for like a few weeks or so, and then they discontinued.
Months, and then they said like nobody's going to use it because more smarter,
ridiculously expensive as well.
Yeah,
I remember
because it was such a large model. And so they essentially didn't go down that path. So except for that one model failure, all the successive models have been wildly profitable for OpenAI. And it looks like 5.5 was like a freshly pre-trained one. The new one is the Fable again, is a freshly pre-trained. I think there are new classes of models that are going to come out right now that have been training for the last year.
This might be a tangent, but I mean, if you 4.5, yes, it was a much larger model, and I think Sam also admitted it. But obviously, it did not give so much gains from, I think, 4.0 as was expected. I don't know what went wrong there, because Mythos is also a very, very large model. Yeah. So I don't know what's really happened there where, Anthropic has managed to train a really big model.
There are a few things that happened. One is that there is something called how many active parameters the model has. And when you're training it, that essentially decides how expensive the model would be to train and serve. Somewhere when 4.5 was getting trained, they figured out how many active parameters are ideal. It looks like 4.5 was misconfigured that way. So that was one of the mistakes I think that they made. The second mistake that they made was essentially there was no RL scaling done on it. Models get ridiculously smart once you essentially do RL scaling on it, which is essentially post-training, which is there were only pre-trained models. So there was very little post-training done on 4.5. Which essentially meant that all these cheap gains that you're getting from just doing regular this thing were just absent for 4.5. So stuff like how many R's in Strawberry, etc., which essentially come from RL, like getting like coding tasks come from RL scaling. All of those things essentially were just absent from 4.5. Which again, not their fault, because like all of these things got invented when 4.5 was being trained. So it couldn't have